because of YouTube Live, but nonetheless, let's talk about a really important leadership trap that we have to learn to avoid. Now, I'm just going to say it as bluntly as I can. What you recognize and what you reward is what you truly value. Now, hear me out on this. Many companies have, here's our core values. Here is what the characteristics that we subscribe to. Here are our goals for the year. However, when it comes to recognition, and yet you all know the game, they go up on the wall at the start of the year, and then we don't see them until we tear them down the next year to put new ones up there. Very few organizations really lean into their core values and apply them on a day-to-day leadership cultural perspective. So what you recognize and what you reward is what you truly value. So if you're saying, hey, we value, these are our core values: integrity, resiliency, teamwork, honesty, vulnerability, humility, go down the line, whatever your core values are. And then the only recognition you give, or the only rewards you give, are to those who do well on the outcome or on the scoreboard. Maybe they've hit a certain quota. Maybe they've hit in certain numbers, or they drove in a certain revenue, or they got this particular customer service score. It's usually what we recognize and reward as something that is outcome related. This is a big trap, all right? Because what we're saying is, hey, this is what matters most to us, but we're all going to recognize you and reward you is when you do something that drives results for the company. Can you see the disconnection? So we got to look at this a bit differently. And if you're saying this is what we truly value, then you have to recognize and reward those things. And I'll ask you, what'll happen if you go down your list of your company core values? What were to happen if you were to recognize your team for hitting one of those, or meeting one of those core values, or one of those standards? What would happen? Well, it would probably be a positive shift to your culture. You would probably see it. And what most leaders do is they say, oh man, that's amazing. That was great integrity, or that was an amazing exhibit of resiliency. And what leaders do is they keep it in their head. If you see something positive, say something positive. But it's usually we're only saying something when it's in corrective nature, or we're going to something's not going right. Then we're going to say something. Or if you look at my last video, you'll see we only say something and it's like, hey, good job. It's very empty. There's no information behind it. Okay. What's up, everybody? YouTube, thank you for joining. I'm going in the evening here, going live, because I'm seeing if this polls a different group, different demographic, trying to catch people at different times during the day. Okay. So back to what you truly value. So we're saying this is what we value, but with our recognition, with our money, we're saying something different. So there's a disconnect there, and your people are going to feel it. So we have to get better at saying, if this is what we truly value, of recognizing, rewarding that. Think about it again. If you have somebody who is exhibiting integrity and humility, resiliency, bouncing back, or they're really showing a tremendous amount of effort in their work to get better, whether they're succeeding on the scoreboard, the results, or not, they're putting forth the effort. What were to happen if you were to recognize that? We'll just take effort, for example. If you see someone putting forth great effort on a particular project or with a particular customer, what would happen if you recognize them for that? You would get more of that thing. This is how we shift behaviors and performance. You'd get more of it. Well, if you get more of that person pouring into your customers or pouring into the work that would help move the needle, you can't help but start to see results on the scoreboard. But see, most leaders don't think about it that way. They go straight to the scoreboard. Did it work? Awesome. Celebrate. Did it not work? Oh, what went wrong? We got to get better. So We have to learn to recognize and reward what we truly value, and then we're going to see more of the things that we truly value. That's why you put the whole corporate values together in the first place. Am I wrong? So emphasize the importance of giving your recognition, reward. It's like, if you think about it from a sports perspective, who gets the game ball? Who gets the MVP? Usually someone that performed the best on the scoreboard, had the most points, the most hits, the fastest time, etc. Same thing. Who gets the president's trip? Whoever brought in the most revenue this year. The top 2 people get to go on the president's trip or in their region. And so we are recognizing, rewarding outcomes. And yet over here is our corporate values. And knowing that if we were to pour into that, if we were to recognize more of that, we're going to get more of it. And you tell me, what does a culture look like, or a corporate culture where people are showing more resiliency, they're showing more effort, more integrity, more humility, more teamwork? What would happen to a culture if you got more of that? You'd probably have a pretty damn dynamic culture going on. And with that culture, you can't help but start to move the needle on the scoreboard, on the outcomes. So many leaders skip right over that. And they think, well, I gotta juice these people with a bonus. I gotta give them the day off because they hit their numbers, not because, like, dude, you poured into that slide deck that really helped us get in that presentation. Whether you landed the sale or not. Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. Whether you landed the sale or not, that individual poured into work that put you in position to increase your success of landing that sale. It's counterintuitive. A lot of leaders can't quite grasp their head around it because it's normally how we've all been recognized and rewarded. I'll give you a prime example. When I just love the sports analogies, right? Because it just seems to vibe. So when I first started playing football, and I played a lot of years of football, my very first year, I was 8th grader. And I showed up to practice. I grew up in Northern California back when we used to have grass on the fields, not turf. And very first game, I got the grass stains. Man, I was as dirty and grass stained full as everybody else on the team. We get to practice that next Monday. And for those of you that are familiar with the game of American football, they give you stickers back in the day. Some teams still do it, but they would give you stickers on our helmets. What do you think they gave us stickers for? Tackles, touchdowns, receptions, interceptions, yardage, passing, receiving. It was all stat related. So here I show up. I had the same dirty jersey, the same amount of effort, put on the same amount of work. That first game, that next practice, I got 0 stickers. None. So now I'm thinking, what's wrong with me? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I shouldn't play this sport. And the people on your team are doing the same thing. They are putting in effort. They're aligning with the corporate values, and they're not being recognized. They're not being rewarded for doing the very thing that we made a commitment to do in the first place. See what I'm saying here? So everyone can see who landed the big sale. Everyone who has an idea of who's making, if you're in a sales-led organization, who's hitting quota, who's making the money. We can see that. It's time to start to recognize and reward what you truly value. So if you truly value the core things that are important to you, and it could be, competing every day. It could be having fun, joy. If those things are important to you, then you need to be applying those into your day-to-day flow. And you need to be recognizing, rewarding when you're seeing your teams applying those, exhibiting that type of core values, or that type of effort, that type of attitude. So what you recognize and what you reward is what you truly value. And this is a hard statement because more times than not, I'll go in to an organization and I'll go straight to it. What are you recognizing people for? What does your reward structure look like? And it's generally something that is based on the outcomes. And so I say, okay, so what matters most to you is the bottom line, is how much money you're generating. That's it. Oh, no, 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 no. We value teamwork, and we value integrity, and we value collaboration. I said, oh, okay, so where are you recognizing and rewarding those things? Oh, we don't do that. Okay, now we've got a disconnect here. So it's important that there's an alignment there, because your people feel it. They want to be recognized, and they're looking to be recognized. And I'm not just talking with, although pizza is a pretty popular recognition, but not just for the sake, pizza for having pizza's sake, but pizza for like, hey, you know what? I see you. I saw that. I'm experiencing, we're all experiencing what you're doing. I want to recognize you for that work, because that's what we value most. So there you go. This is hopefully this would help provide some insight on how you're recognizing, rewarding your team. Because look, we got to humanize this thing. In the age of machines and AI coming on, which is great, it's going to allow little medial tasks that used to take us time to do to get done really quickly, so we can lean more into being human. Our core values, the things that really make us up, that's really going to move the needle now, is us being human. For more insight and talk and conversations about leadership and being human, leaning into to us as humans in the age of machines, my friends, stick with me here. Subscribe to me on YouTube, or if you're here on Instagram, not Instagram, on LinkedIn or Facebook. Would love for you to follow, connect. Let's reach out. Let's talk. If I can be of service to your teams, let's talk about how we can recognize and reward the things that you truly value. I would love to be able to support you in that. Thank you all for joining me. See you on Friday.